Bismillah. And so we spoke of the monad. We spoke of the one as the prototype and origin and archetype of all art. What precedes that, then, is the dyad. The first form of art is pure oneness, one itself. What is after one, 1 plus 1 is 2, is the dyad. Now, by the dyad we mean duality, and duality is to beget. It is the masculine and the feminine, night and day, these two poles which in marriage unite in oneness and have a creative bond and synergy. The dyad represents Genesis, whereas the monad represents God. So the dyad as a prototype of art is conceived by these two poles which I hitherto mentioned, of singularity and of form, the pole of oneness and the pole of multiplicity, the pole of the formless and the pole of the formed, which therefore has form, or what we might call the pole of quality, because quality is oneness and oneness is a quality, to the pole of quantity, to the pole of structure, because a structure, a framework, a system is a multiplicity. And conversely, whatever multiplicity we may have has a multiplex, manifold structure in its constitution. Duality perhaps actually is seen more often than unity in art, as it should be, because while the circle and the monad is the beginning of all art, it is not the end. It is the most hidden and elusive work of art. But the dyad, the two poles, the two colors, so they say in the theory of graphics and the theory of colors, the greatest, both, I suppose, quantitative duality between colors, but also the most qualitative bifurcation as an experience of two colors, is given by blue and by orange. That is why if we look at most works or most advertisements, if we look at most, especially movie posters, we see that they are leveled against a backdrop of these two colors clashing together, because they are the colors of twilight. When the sun goes down and night rises up, we have the cascade, the gushing effulgence of the dark blue, mysterious night rising forth. But as that also descends upon us, darkness is upon us. We witness the last remnants of that dying light bleeding upon the horizon. And that witness, that scene of sundown, is one of the most glorious and august experiences of life, and it is an unparalleled work of art. Sunrise and sunset, when the light fades out from the earth, and also when it bursts forth from beneath it, these are the most divine works of art which can be found, which is why the Bible and the Quran so often mention them as signs. And these signs which scripture speaks of are works of art. Because as I said, an idol calls to itself, whereas a sign calls towards something beyond it. That is good art. It's not an idol, it is a sign. And the dyad calls towards oneness, the marriage of the two poles, the perfect unison and dance and union, calls unto that oneness which binds them together, the greater harmony in which they partake. The sacred nuptial bonds of marriage, which are not merely wedded together by them two, it is not just a fusion of two into one, but it is a reunion of two things which were originally one, finding themselves in the other and therefore becoming whole. The dyad therefore represents the romantic, the sensual, the sexual even. The dyad represents unison of multiplicity in the most perfect, glorious, and evocative form. And that is why I do think it is the most frequent pattern which occurs. The secret of the dyad is the monad, but in works of art, what we really witness is the dyad, the marriage between two elements. In architecture, we have walls coming in, or especially think of a line of columns. It's two lines converging into a horizon, converging into a center. Even the duality of the two walls, the floor and the roof, the door and the gateway, there is always a marriage of two elements. Of course, in art, there's always two reference points. There are two predominant colors. There are two elements, two people merging together. There is always a subject and an object. And so, in summary, duality is the beginning of manifestation and generation. The dyad is that artistic element which precedes the monad and also in the most beautiful way calls back to it.